Hello and welcome back to the Stacey West YouTube channel and to another preview. Looking ahead this time to Carlisle United on Easter Monday. Now, normally, as you are aware, we like to get opposition fans on for these previews. We struggled this time to find a Carlisle fan that would actually be able to talk some good, proper analysis of their club. So instead, we've got a Sutton fan. Am I right in saying that? We have a Carlisle fan in... We have a Carlisle fan in Ivan here from the Real EFL. Ivan, how are we doing, mate?
I'm absolutely buzzing after yesterday beating Peterborough. I think that was my ninth away game of the year, first win. And what style to do it in? John Mellish, the versatile centre-back, centre-mid, former striker with a hat-trick. Two of them being worldies, but it was just... Great day out, and I didn't have much hope going into it, and then to come away 3-1 winners, absolutely great day. But my voice, sorry to those who, if they recognise my voice from the podcast, it's a bit probably a bit deeper and a bit more hoarse today, just because let's just say a lot of singing. And
just because you finally hit puberty.
Yeah, but I am older than you, so I'm not going to have that.
Yeah, but my hairline's older than... Oh, wait, no. That doesn't help me. Look, I guess the perfect place, if you like, to start is yesterday. And for the record, I'm going to echo the thoughts on the voice. If any of you have watched the monthly show, this might go out before the monthly show. The monthly show as well, which I've literally just recorded. I am quite clearly losing my voice, but that's what happens when Jovan McCarma scores a last-minute winner. Like I say, I think yesterday was probably the best place to kind of start. What an impressive victory against Peterborough. I mean, that victory, from what I can tell, and I'm not the best mathematician, but from what I can tell, that victory does mean that you can't go down on Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
I think we can. I think if we lose and Burton and Cambridge both win, we'd be 16 points off with 5 games to go. So we can go down on Monday.
You can. Yes, you can. So, because it's 13 points to Burton already. So, So Burton, I think Burton are at home to Barnsley, though. So not exactly the most like... But look, we're talking about what is effectively an inevitability, isn't it? But I guess we'll start with that Peterborough. How much out of the blue did that come? Have performances picked up recently, or was that just a shock result?
I mean, you look at how we played against Stevenage, and I think Simo said it in his post-match interview. We were really good for 70 minutes against Stevenage, and then blew it away in the last, not even the last 20, the last 10 odds, letting in that last-minute goal. I was saying I wasn't at that game, following it on Twitter, and we hadn't even tweeted that we let the second goal in. It was just full time, and I saw it was 2. I was like, oh, that's good. But I think the problem is, I think we've put in some really good performances in the second half of the season. We've hardly anything to show for it. We've won 6 games all season. It's no lie that we struggle to win games. And there's been some good performances there. I thought even against Charlton a couple of weeks back, we were really good, apart from Sam Lavelle making a mistake late on. But I think but we've done some. Well, we've put in some really good performances. I just think it's that winning that we struggled. I think it was great yesterday. We've taken our chances. I think our first 3 shots on target all went in, which doesn't usually happen. So I think a good performance that brought 3 points was definitely due, because I think we've won 3 times now in 2024, but they've all been quite spaced out. But it was just great yesterday. But I mean, we'll probably get on to this later, but I'm not 100% sure if we'll be able to back that up. But it's a lot of positives for next season, at least, from that.
Well, exactly. If you can win a cup final in that manner, then obviously it's a great bonus for you. Obviously, have to get that in there whenever Peterborough lose. Look, we joked there a second ago about sort of defensively. You guys have made, if we're being honest, quite a few mistakes, and it has meant that you've conceded the most amount of goals in the division. Is that what you would say your biggest issue has been in League One this season? It is defensively, and is that going to potentially give a few Lincoln fans hope of having another dominant performance like we had, for example, against Barnsley, Cambridge and Bristol Rovers?
I mean, if you're a Lincoln fan and you look at our defensive record, you're probably over the moon. But then again, saying that, that's probably what a lot of Peterborough fans thought on Friday. When you think if they've got the best attack in the league and statistically we've got the worst defence in the league, then they probably thought they could have a field day. And then get one, don't really give. Harry Lewis didn't have too much to do. I just want to touch on Peterborough quickly. I was really disappointed. Well, not disappointed with them because I just thought they'd be a lot better. But yeah, it is. Our defence was incredible against them. Like this, I would say it's the best defensive performance I've seen. I thought Ben Barkley hasn't actually had that many minutes this season, was incredible. And had it not been for John Mellish getting a hat trick, he's my man of the match. And even like Sam Lavelle had a good game as well. I think Harry Lewis was quite commanding of his area. I think it's starting to gel a bit more. I don't really think we've had a back four or back five that Simo's kept constantly all season, which is probably why we struggled defensively. But like you said, I think our biggest problem this season, I mean, there's been so many, but you look at it is your defence and your goalkeeper. We've had 4 different starting goalkeepers this year as well. So yeah, I think it's definitely something that I'm worried about Lincoln exploiting, especially in the form that you're in currently. But I think that we've got positives to take from Peterborough. Had we not won yesterday, or if we'd filmed this before the game on Friday, I would be saying very different things right now. I mean, I'm still very scared for Monday, but I think, we've got at least a bit of momentum to build something on, but who knows what will happen.
Well, let's be honest, when we first spoke about you coming on this, I think it's fair to say I wasn't quite expecting you to have the smile on your face that you've got today, considering the way that your season's gone.
It's great, isn't it?
But it is. Question is it better or worse? I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of a depressed kind of outlook on your season, so that it could certainly fill us with a little bit more hope. But there's also a really interesting stat that I found out today. You guys, I don't know if you know, but you guys have conceded the fewest goals in the first 15 minutes in the division. We've scored the most. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the game opens up. Is that something that you eat? Well, whether you know it or not, is that something you're surprised at, or?
Well, I knew that recently we've not been conceding first a lot, which was weird. I think in our first 28 games we only scored first, I think 3 times or 4 times. But recently we've been not solid at the back, but we've been going ahead and then letting in goals later on. So I mean, it's well known how good your attack is at the minute, and I can't see why they wouldn't score in the first 15. But I think our problem is we've just not been able to sustain, or not even sustain something, not make mistakes for 90 minutes. We'll put in a good first half an hour. I thought yesterday against Peterborough, we were very good for the first half an hour. But then again, we were good for the whole game yesterday, which was quite surprising. But yeah, I mean, I reckon they'll probably be. I reckon you'll score in the first 15 minutes after that stat. But yeah, we'd have to see. It's just a bit of a weird feeling at the minute for all Carlisle fans, because we all know what is inevitable. We know that we are going to go down potentially on Monday. I don't think we will go down on Monday because I don't think Burton and Cambridge will both win. But I do think we'll be down by Northampton on Saturday, or we've got Cheltenham on the Tuesday after. But yeah, I just think the defence is improving. It's still, like I said, it's still what has really cost us this season. But then again, you look and we've hardly scored at all. But yeah, I mean, it's a good stat that, because I wouldn't have thought of it otherwise. But we have on the whole.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'll give you some credit sometimes, Charlie. But
too nice,
too
nice.
But yeah, we've definitely improved in the first half of games in the second half of the season, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally understandable on that. And let's take a little bit of a view ahead for a second then, taken away from this season. So look, there's an argument potentially from some Carlisle fans. I think you may have said it yourself a few times that potentially you came up a little bit too early and you weren't maybe quite ready to be in League One. So looking ahead to next season in League Two, how strong do you think your chances are of being able to bounce back? Whether that means immediately coming back up or at least being within the top 7, because obviously you've got new owners at the sort of around the turn of the year, and if I'm not mistaken, Paul Simpson's starting now to be playing a team of players that are definitely going to be at the club next season. So is the outlook looking quite strong for a League Two campaign in 24-25?
Yeah, I think I just want to touch on the thing you said earlier about us going up a season too early. It's totally right. I don't think any sane Carlisle fan would have thought that we'd have gone up last season. It was pretty incredible. And even when even when Taylor Charters was stepping up to take the final penalty to send us into League One, I still wasn't confident. But yeah, I think Paul Simpson's done such a good job since he came in. And fans have got such short memories. Yes, we have been awful this year. Before, we could have been the worst ever League One team had we not got a result yesterday or for the rest of the season. But I do think we did go up a season too early. But you also can't complain because we're playing in League One, which to me is a massive success. I think last time we were in League One was 2013-14. So it was a big step up, definitely. And we've been found out, and we probably know what our level is now. But I think next year we've got a lot more money with these new owners. I mean, you look at our January business. We're actually, I cannot remember the last time we paid for a player, paid a fee. And then you're seeing players like Luke Armstrong coming in, Georgie Kelly coming in January, Harrison Neal, Josh Vella, quite a few players that we're signing on permanence rather than utilising the loan market. I do think we're in a strong position, and there's a bit of recency bias because that win against Peterborough has made me completely change my outlook on the future. But I think we did play a team yesterday which was all players who I think are under contract. The only one that I'm not 100% sure on is Jordan Gibson, but Gibson came on for Taylor Charters because he got injured fairly early on. But it's even players like Jack Diamond, who we got known from Sunderland, didn't start yesterday. I don't even think he came on. So I think the future outlook currently for me is pretty bright. I don't think we definitely go straight back up, but I'd like to think we're going to be in the top 10 and challenging for at least the playoffs next season. With the new ownership as well, it certainly boosts our chances. The only thing for me is the start of the season is going to be absolutely pivotal, because Simo has had his doubters this year, and rightly so. We're bottom of the table, 6 games won all season, 27 points. We have been pretty shocking, but I don't think there's many managers that could have done a better job. That being said, he's not going to be given a lot of time next year to get some results. And if we start badly and we're not in the top half after, I don't know, 10 games, then I do think there'll be a fair bit of hostility in the fan base. But I don't quite think that's going to happen. I think we'll be more than fine next year, and hopefully we can bounce straight back.
Now, how are we maybe expecting you guys to line up on Monday? Obviously, we spoke about the fact that a lot of the maybe players who are going to be under contract next season. But what kind of shape and formation are we expecting you to play?
Well, I was trying to work out our formation Friday, because everywhere is saying that we played a 5 at the back, and we shuffle between a 5 and a back at the back and a 4 back, because we've got the messiah that is John Mellish, who is just so good at football. He can just do everything. So I think we'll start,
including an overhead kick, sort of.
Yeah, close enough. You can't. I don't think you can quite do that. I mean, we'll definitely start. It'll be Lewis in goal again, Ellis at right back, and I think Simo will stick with Lavelle and Barkley and an Armour at left back. I'd quite like to see Mellish play in midfield again. He's a player who, technically, I would say technically he's our worst player, but I don't know a player that gives more for the badge and will just never stop running. He's probably been my favourite player over the last 3 or 4 years, because it's just what he does, and he really gets in the opposition head. So I'd move him into midfield. So we'll play a 5-4-1. I think we'll play 5-4-1 with like a Harrison Neal in. I reckon because Charter's got injured, we might see Gibson and Butterworth again, and then Luke Armstrong up top, who I think has been a really good signing since January. It's just he's maybe not scored as many, but then again, you're playing for the bottom team in League One. Then again, I can also see us starting Georgie Kelly, who looked quite good making his debut when he came on. But yeah, I think that's the likely lineup for us. Yeah. But then again, we've changed so much this season. Who knows what Simo might do.
So when it's inevitably totally different on Monday, then we can sort of revert back to this.
Just wait for me to make myself look like an idiot. Yeah. Never happened before.
Yeah. I'm going to say that was it, was it? Yeah, I didn't realise. So, right, let's. I've got 2 questions to ask you then. One, I've got to decide what order to do these in. In fact, what we'll do is let's ask you for a score prediction going into Monday's game first of all. Then.
Well, I remember watching your one with Matt Isles and saying about how he was I think potentially the first person to predict his team to lose. And then you said that about, oh, don't worry, we've got Ivan on in a couple of weeks and he'll be the same. I would have definitely predicted a loss had it not been for the win against Peterborough.
Oh, look at that. Their ego's boosted just because they won a cup final.
One cup final. But I am actually going to still predict a loss for us. So Lincoln win. I think Lincoln will win 2-1. I think it'll be quite a close game. The problem for me is we've not won back-to-back games since I think it was like March the 6th last year. We beat Swindon and someone else. And there is literally no guarantee that we back up the performance on Friday at all. You've got the quality, but I do think that win is going to do something for us. However, I feel just like I'm just constantly contradicting myself. I still think that you've got that quality that will rise to the top, won't it, at the end? I think we're quite good at losing games rather narrowly. I know we've been smacked a couple of times this season, but there's been quite a few that have been the odd goal. It's all about if we can stay in the game for as long as possible, because who knows what can happen if it's in the last 10, 15 minutes 0-0. I mean, you'll probably score another 90th minute winner, but that's not the point. But yeah, I'd probably say 2-1 Lincoln, but I think it'll be quite a close game.
Okay, well, just to counter that, I'm also going to go for a Lincoln win, ironically enough. And I'm going to go for we'll go 3. I think we'll go 3-0. I think we've got Ethan Arahan back in midfield after him missing out at Leighton Orient. I think because you guys are at home as well, there might be a little bit more pressure on you to actually do something and not just sit back all game. So I just feel like there'll be a couple of opportunities. We've been quite clinical recently. I don't know if you know. So it'll be kind of nice to sort of see that come out again. And yeah, I think we'll get a few goals. And also, I don't expect you guys to score just purely because of how strong our defensive side has been. So the final question then, and I'm now asking this to every person who comes on a preview between now and the end of the season. And I'm trying to think who we've got next. We've got Reading next. I'll be asking Johnny after this. Playoffs. Do Lincoln do it?
I'm not just saying it because I'm on this, but I'd absolutely love Lincoln to do it. It would be great. The way that you've been playing this, well, not the second half of the season, because when did your really good run of form start? February, was it?
It was after the FA Cup third round weekend, so it was just after
like
sort of New Year's Day. Yeah, 13th of January was the first game of this run.
I mean, looking at the teams we're at, well, watch us play Peter on Friday. I think you absolutely smack them in the playoffs if you make it. And then the other teams,
yes,
yeah, you're gonna get some quotes like this. Because the three teams are kind of battling for that final spot. I mean, 4 teams if you include Blackpool. Oxford are really nothing special anymore, I don't think. And if they get into the playoffs, I just think they lose to whoever they play straight away. Stevenage, for me, I hate Steve Evans as a person. He is such a good manager, though. But I just think there's apart from Stevenage fans, I don't think there's a single fan who will want Stevenage to be in the playoffs over Lincoln, just because of how different it is the two sides play. And you look at your form compared to both Oxford, Stevenage, Blackpool, even Barnsley and Peterborough, I guess, and you've got the best form or recent form on show. You're on a great run at the minute, and there is absolutely no reason why you cannot take that 6th spot.
Right, on a trip to Wembley. That's exactly. I know you're right. I mean, I have coached you well on that. So you've got your notes. So no, that's perfect. I obviously agree. I think we're in a much better position having beaten Leyton Orient yesterday, and we've just got to make sure that we realistically, and it doesn't mean to come across as arrogant, but hopefully we can sort of beat the banana skin that very much is Carlisle on Monday, because that's what this game is for us at this point. It's not something that obviously we want to be thinking about losing that game. So thank you so much for joining me, Ivan. Go and check out all of Ivan's, I can't speak, all of Ivan's stuff over on The Real EFL. In fact, you've got the podcast, League One podcast, and the League Two podcast that you're on. Most
weeks.
Which
I'll be on a lot more next year.
One of them. That's the one. Brilliant. Thanks so much for joining us, Ivan. Up the Imps.